Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're live here to give our instant match reaction to Sunderland 1, Leeds United 1, here with myself, Stephen Brown, and joining me as ever to discuss everything to do with the Whites is Jason Booker. 1-1, but could it have been 3 points for the Whites? You could definitely argue in that one. It's 5 games unbeaten. Now it's another goal for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and it actually increases the gap to the bottom 3 as well, now to 7 points ahead of West Ham. Jason, another very, very positive performance, positive away performance. Somehow found ourselves a goal down. I wasn't quite sure where that came from or how that happened. I actually thought we were really clever in how because Sunderland had a fast start. You could see they were pressing us, they were trying to, the crowd, and it seemed like their kind of ambition was to get at us early and maybe sneak in front, but I thought we handled that really well. Thought we were carving out the better opportunities as well, controlling the possession. Somehow found ourselves 1-0 down, and then it just didn't. It looked like it might be one of those days, I think, at one point. But second half, absolutely fantastic. We absolutely battered them, and just couldn't quite get that second goal, which I thought we richly deserved. But on the whole, Jason, we have to be happy. It's another, a kind of dent in the idea that Leeds can't perform away from home. It's another goal for DCL. It's another point out of that relegation zone as well. So it's a positive afternoon.
Well, before we even kicked the ball today, mate, I mean, the weekend was already luxurious for us. The results went really well for us around us, especially West Ham losing against Fulham at home. They'll be looking at their fixtures and thinking, well, this is where we get 3 points and they leave with none. We quite well could have conceived a situation this weekend where we were 3 points in front of West Ham. Yeah. West Ham win at home at Fulham and we lose away at Sunderland, and we find ourselves at 7 points. So this is a massive, massive weekend for us. And, going into the game, we'd have taken a point. I'd have snapped your hand off with a point. Now, the way that the game plays out, again, just think leaves us with so many positives, so much good feeling, and absolutely we deserve to win that game. Sunderland for me, I think, have massively outperformed where they actually are in the table. I think I've said this all week in the build-up to this game. Sunderland fans have become real arrogant, I think, about their kind of standing in this Premier League season. And you know what? Let them enjoy it, I guess. I get it. I understand it. They've been out of it a long time. But I think they're probably 5 or 6 points better off than they should be. And I think we're 5 or 6 points worse off than we should be. I think we're very similar. Yeah. I've said also even, this team is between 16th and 18th. I think that is ultimately where we will finish. I think Sunderland are around the same. I think they're in that same kind of bracket, but because they've got the points on the board, they can play with such a freedom that, we just can't. And I think we're showing moments of being able to do that. But ultimately, they've put themselves in this position. They deserve it, but they have outperformed where they should be. That's how I see it. And I think you saw that today. Outside of one moment of real quality from Adingra, because again, it's a goal that really most weeks won't go in. He hits it at the keeper, he balloons it over the bar, whatever. Like, you don't whip it into the top corner like that. Outside of that, they had nothing. Perry had nothing to do. Again, how many times are we going to say that this season? He's had nothing to do. And we've had chance after chance after chance. Now, don't get me wrong, some of our chances are more half chances and we've not made the most of them. But like Bogle, as an example, should tap it in from a yard out. The game's a completely different second half. We can cut them open on the counter. But yeah, sorry, I'm skipping over a few different places with this because there's just so much excitement attached to this because Sunderland have got all the plaudits and I feel like we've got none this season, really. Now whatever it is we're 6 unbeaten and, DCL scores again. I thought Brendan Aronson today was unreal. I thought it was excellent. And, we had changes within that structure as well because of what happened to Joe Rodon. And that's a big, big concern. But mate, overall, loads to love today, and I thought we were excellent second half. And the goal, by the way, is an absolute beaut. It's the second goal only this season that's involved every single player in the build-up, and it was sweeping the way that Stack takes it and whips it into Brendan, and then Brendan's assist. It's a beauty.
I know. I want to bring something up in a minute just to back that up as well. Just want to get through some messages. Sporting Jenny, hi, Jason Browney and everyone at West Yorkshire Football Show. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. 7 points clear of West Ham. Going into 2026, I'll take that every day. Absolutely. Martin, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. West Ham fans think they're already down. John, good result today. You have to give Sunderland credit for great recruitment in the summer. Robbie, great point for Sunderland. Yeah, what you were saying, I think we've seen a special goal there to today, Jason, when you look at it. And there's this little Opta stat here. Like you say, only the second goal that's involved all 11 players in the build-up. But you look at the pass map, like you say, when Stat picks that ball up, and beautiful ball, and he was a terrific one. I actually got a text from a non-Leeds supporting fan today, and they dip in, don't they? And he was like, "That Stack's a player," and I was like, "Yeah, he is a player."
He was brilliant today.
He was really, really, really good. And the same mate actually texted me, said, "You've somehow made Granit Xhaka look like Seth Johnson today." So I thought,
he was crap.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Did you see that ball at the end where he just lobbed it to nowhere? It's like, it didn't look to me like he didn't quite have the legs for it, to be honest, today.
But we have the capabilities of being able to do that to players that have been banging at form. We've seen this season. Like a player turns up and you think, "Oh God, he's had such a great season so far," and then they don't deliver against us. That's not down to the player. That's down to the system and the tactics around making sure that you nullify them players as best as possible. There were others as well. I mean, Brobby didn't really get much joy from the back line. I didn't think he held Pascal up a couple of times, but ultimately he really struggled. I thought Adingra had a couple of moments against Bogle, but I thought overall was good. I thought Gabby was excellent defensively on the other side today. The back, I mean, I've had a bit of back and forth with a Sunderland fan this week about because I said, long story short, I said Joe Rodon would start in their side, Alderete and Mukiele and Ballard, who was missing today, apparently are just like the best players in the world. Mm-hmm. And I thought DCL had them all over the place. Yeah. He had them absolutely scrambling. Every time the ball came forward, it was Calvert-Lewin winning them. I mean, if Brendan manages to score that goal, and it's not nothing Brendan does, Brendan actually finishes it brilliantly. It's past Roofs. It's a brilliant bit of defending by Trey Hume. He gets back onto the line and stops it bang on the goal line. It's a beautiful goal, honestly. I can't wait to watch it back because it deserved the goal. The assist from Calvert-Lewin was ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I'm waxing lyrical a little bit. I'm glowing.
No, absolutely. It was as we thought it would be. It was the 3-5-2 set up there, and probably that kind of what overshadowed that opening bit was the injury to Joe Rodon, who's bionic man. He's never out, and bless him, he tried twice, didn't he, to carry on, but it eventually got to him. A couple of really kind of nasty kind of happenings in challenges. Look, some of the players have got the right to go for the ball, but it was just one of those. I mean, that second one where his ankle kind of turns, it's just nasty, isn't it? And it was sad to see him go off, and you think, well, how are Leeds going to cope from here? Because Rodon is such a leader in this team. You think, I'm a bit worried about what's going to happen there, but actually we switched it up, and did Rodon go off before the goal or after?
No, the goal was kind of because of his injury, unfortunately. So he got back up, and then he was half a yard further behind the play. He actually plays everybody on side. Oh. So it's actually a bit of a sick note. It is what it is. It's one of them, and I mean, I feel sorry for. It's one of the, because I've had a bad history with ankle rolls and injuries, ligaments and whatnot. The first one, with the adrenaline pumping, you can kind of get through it, but then for the roll to happen again, or it's not even a roll because of the contact from the player, it then opens up the injury even more. So it might have been a tier one kind of injury that first happened, and you can kind of play on with that. The second one, it'll have opened it up to maybe a 2 or a 3, and you become unable to be able to put weight on it. And never mind the confidence that you don't have in being able to plant your foot and pass the ball and stuff. And you rely on Joe Rodon's recovery pace. He wouldn't have had that recovery pace anyway. It should have come off after the second one. And they were both. It's a funny one because I don't think either of them was with malice. I think they were with real dogged determination to get in front of the ball, and the follow through was caught in both times in exactly the same way. I think it's really, really unfortunate. I don't want to be too critical of the opponents because I don't think they were there were horror challenges or anything. I think the second one's a tad reckless, but it's only because of how low he brings his knee and the knee catches the foot on the way through. So, but it's gutting. And the likelihood is he'll be out in the next 2 games. I can't see there's a way that he recovers from that for Thursday. And maybe he recovers for Sunday, but I doubt it, which would be massive. Going into Liverpool away and Man United at home, to not have them back 3 in that way, in what's given us so much kind of solidity and confidence, is a bit of a gut punch. And it leaves us with a question as to what we do, doesn't it? But we'll maybe come around with it.
Do you think there was a deliberate kind of plan to shut that door? Because Rodon has been so effective as this kind of hybrid centre-back, wing-back, right winger almost at times. It seemed like there was instructions there to make sure you close that door. And obviously, like you say, you know, a bit of overzealousness and you know, these things are going to happen, you know, and it seemed like they definitely wanted to shut that door on him. But like you say, we'll wait to see what Farke says. Hopefully we'll get some Farke comments before the end of the show, and we'll see if there's any kind of immediate kind of update on Rodon or whatnot, because he will be a huge loss for what he brings. I mean, 1-0 down at that point, Jay, you've lost Joe Rodon off the pitch as well. I think a lot of teams in that situation may have crumbled, may have gone under. You know, Sunderland at home, the atmosphere, and they've got the tails up. But I just thought a couple of things went our way. I thought the way we responded to going 1-0 down was super impressive. I thought the switch of formation, I did text you thinking I was a little bit worried about striking the 2, as we've talked about, but I actually thought it was absolutely fine. Handled things really well today, and good distribution, makes a little clever run for the goal as well, the way he kind of moved forward. But I thought we responded really well, and I was just banging my head against the wall that we couldn't get back in 1-1. But that response, I mean, that tells you everything about kind of mentally where we're at the moment, doesn't it? Because it wasn't a heads down situation. It was, you know, Stack, Ampadu, aggressive, Aronson, who was absolutely superb today again. For me, he is that third man in the middle now. I think even if, you know, with Tanaka there, I mean, you know, Longstaff, I mean, is it automatic that Longstaff comes in? I really like Brendan's mobility, pressing, and that little bit of magic that he can produce on the ball. I think it's vital, and it's not just strictly a 3-5-2. Players are moving all the time, and Aronson ends up over on the right wing, and Okafor's left wing. You know, this idea that it's just been moved to a 3-5-2 and that's solved all our problems. It's not, you know, it's a very kind of fluid thing. But I thought we responded to that setback so well, Jay. It was just frustrating we couldn't get back in on level terms at half time.
Yeah, I actually thought Pascal and Be all together looked really good. And I mean, I love Joe Rodon. I do love Joe Rodon's the main number 5. You know, he's the main centre back without a shadow of a doubt. He's the guy. So I'm not, you know, we're not going to go down that road. But I thought Pascal was very good today. Robbie's a handful, and overall he dealt with him quite well. There were a couple of times where he pinned him, but you're going to have that. He's a good striker. And I thought him and Biol worked really well. I thought Biol looked far more comfortable being on his right side than he did when he was playing alongside with Rodon on his left side. So, you know, that's kind of to be expected. That is a thing. It is a thing. Like, it makes sense that, especially as a centre back where you're not technically as good, you're going to be more comfortable on your comfortable side. So, and what Biol was doing when he went into a back 4, he was taking the mantle of picking the ball up and then floating them balls into Calvert-Lewin, and his distribution's excellent. I actually think Biol's got the best distribution out of the 3, especially when you're going long. Like, his long pass accuracy, not so much when you're cutting through the lines. Maybe that is probably Rodon. He pings it into feet. But when you're floating him in, Biol's got a really good kind of sense of the distance between goalkeeper and the edge of the box, so you can't then come and get it as a goalkeeper, and it puts the defenders in a bit of no man's land. I really liked them as a pair, and I liked the back 4. I thought the defence played really well today. But Ampadu played really well. Again, we've been saying that we needed away performances from him. Stack have continued this momentum from when he came back from his concussion. I mean, he looks like a different player. It looks like the player we expected that we saw in glimpses in the opening 2 or 3 weeks. He's been brilliant, and maybe it was just that rib injury that he was carrying. Maybe he was just didn't have the confidence, but the way that he's striding about the place and in his technique to get the ball around the pitch is just excellent, and it brings out the best in everybody else around him as well. And I don't know where exactly I sit on this Brendan conundrum, whether he is the main number 3 in that midfield 3 yet. I don't know, because I think Tanaka offers things that he can and whatnot. But what I will say is he's the one that has a creative string to his bow out of them midfield options. And if he's playing with confidence, like he did today, he has got things about him. You know, people have talked about him like he's a non-league footballer for so long that they've kind of made it a reality. And it's just not. Like, he's clever. He's a smart footballer. And today, you know, he was putting little tricks in there. He was throwing defenders off. The goal that he should have had, that Treyu knocks off the line, is fabulous. It's real quality. You know, the assist is good, but then he brings it down, takes his touch, he opens his body, weak foot into the corner. It's past the keeper. It's done. And then the assist is brilliant as well. You know, so I'm really, really impressed with him today. And I just hope fans just start finally getting behind him. Maybe in that midfield 3, because he's got the midfielders alongside him, he's got the scope to make a few more mistakes, which gives him a bit more confidence. Whereas out on the right, he's a little bit isolated at times. Maybe that helps him. I don't know, but I didn't expect him when we went into this 5-3-2 to see him being a major part of a midfield 3. I really didn't. So yeah,
fair play to him. I mean, the guy, he's like, you can't get rid of him, can you? He's gonna find a way to get into it, isn't he? He's gonna find a way, this lad, and you've just got to sit back and admire it, really, how he's kind of made himself, you know, still there.
He just works so hard, Browney, and like, I see people actually online, and we've seen them in this chat as well, that will actively use that as a way to discredit him. He runs around a lot. That's what they'll say, and it's like, no, it's not just running around a lot. Like, Sunderland are a high-pressing, high-impact team away from home. You need somebody that can give a little bit of that back. You go and watch that first half. Brendan Aronson went from the left wing to striker to right wing to right back. And it's a nuisance. It plugs all them gaps that get opened up by players that haven't got the stamina to do that. And, you know, an offensive player being effective out of possession in defence is a massive asset. A massive asset to have. So yeah, I really like him. I mean, I think he's been one of the unsung heroes of the season. I really do. I really, really do. I think he's been far better than people give him credit for this season.
Yeah, I do. Thanks for your comments, guys. Digger, he's a determined player, good trait to have. John Aronson had a great game. His work rate was second to none in driving the ball forward. Absolutely. Totally agree. Just want to bring this point up as well, Martin. Thank goodness for you guys paying attention to underlying reality and not giving up on our team. So far, so good, but I don't get the doubters even saying Brentford were shit when we gave them a good game. And this is the kind of non-logic of it. Suddenly, everybody else is terrible when we get a positive result against. So it's like, we know the argument today is Sunderland have all these players out, blah, 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 blah. You know, we know that. But look, there won't be many teams, I don't think, that are going to the Stadium of Light and dominating like that and making Xhaka look like Seth Johnson, for God's sake. You know, I think, like you said, Jay, it's not just they've had an off day, it's us imposing ourselves. And that's what we didn't do in them Nottingham Forest and Brighton, is we didn't impose ourselves. Today we did, when we did. And in this run that we're on, we have done.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we can definitely be objective enough to understand why people were flapping after the Forest and the Brighton games.
Yeah.
But I think that the Forest and the Brighton games were very isolated. Very, very isolated. There were poor performances in and amongst 18 games now where we've actually played really well. And that doesn't mean that we've won all of those games. It doesn't mean that we haven't even lost. You know, Spurs at home, Villa at home are great examples. Fulham away, I didn't think we were bad. We definitely deserved a point. We all know what happened. There's several instances this season where we can say, you know what, the performance was fine, but the result didn't go our way. Forest and Brighton aside, because they were really, really poor on the day, I think we've always shown an intensity. We've always shown an idea, a structure, and an ability to be able to compete at this level. We've been able to bridge the gap. I've been saying that all season now, bridging the gap of quality. Because whenever I watch our team play, I see a set of players that don't have the technical ability that the opponents have. You know, we're talking about Brendan Aronson having a great game for Leeds United today. Technically, is he as good as an Adingra? No, he's not. But he can make up that distance in the intensity that he puts in, the desire, and the tactical structure that the manager sets out. And I mean, again, Daniel Farke won't get any credit today. It'll all go to the players and the performance. We've heard all season from our own fans as well. Regis Lebris. If we had Regis Lebris, we'd be so good. Like Daniel Farke today took a team that was actually not as good as his and actually smashed them. We should have won that game comfortably. And that was down to Daniel Farke and the system. Yes, the players are a part of that, but they're playing for him. They're instructionally operating at what he's telling them to do, and it's getting these results. You know, when was the last time we lost a game now? Man City? When was that?
Yeah. I don't think we lost in December. I think we're ending up.
Have we not lost in December at all?
I think we've lost in December, no.
I thought Man City were in December. I mean, I just think it's the plaudits.
29th of November, Man City game.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, Daniel Farke was manager of the month, right?
Yeah.
Like he has to be manager of the month. We've beaten Chelsea. We've what were the other win? We beat
Crystal Palace.
4-1 at home. And then we drew with Liverpool, drawn with Brentford away, drawn with Sunderland away. Sunderland have got the best home record in the division. You know, yeah. I'm seeing the point there, Spot and Jenny. I get it. I absolutely get it. But at the same time, that's been part of this amazing recruitment structure in which they've kind of held everything on this season, right? So if that's part of their recruitment structure, then they have to be willing to be kind of analysed throughout the whole season with that month in part of it. So I don't have any sympathy for that. You know, we all have players out during the season. We lost our best player after 20 minutes today. You know what I mean? So I'm not. They still had a decent team out there. They weren't like a weak, like a championship Sunderland. No. You know, they still had Granit Xhaka, they still had Brobbey, they still had a Dingra who were all signings in the summer. They still had Alcaretti, who was part of La Liga team of the season last season. You know what I mean? Like they had a good side out there as well. So let's not. We have to be careful not because. Sorry, I'm rambling, but you're in danger there of doing exactly what Browney was just talking about, where we then discredit the Leeds performance and we put it on the opponents being shit or being weak. You know, Brentford a week ago were crap all of a sudden, but when Leeds took a point away from them and actually deserved to win that game as well, then they go and beat Bournemouth yesterday, and everybody's like, "Well, hold on a minute, these are quite a good side."
Yeah,
exactly. Just analyse it as it is.
Absolutely. Some other comments as well. Aronson, man of the match from me. Thank you, Michael. Great point. Should be a blueprint for future away games, and Farke showed his tactical flexibility. Well done. Glenn, thanks for your comment, mate. Was really worried to see Roden hobble off and how we'd shape up for the rest of the game. Really impressed with how we managed without him today. Second that. Noah Okafor, Jay. Now, a couple of things with this. I might contradict myself on this a little bit, but I think he's quite a contradictory player. I think he's an interesting player. I think he's probably our most gifted actual football player in terms of, you know, those great little movements he does and the way he shimmies away from people. But then he looks like, remember the famous clip of David Dunn when he tries to do the Rabona and he just falls on his backside? He can look a little bit like, what are you doing, mate? And some of the decision making's off. But I actually thought when he came off, we weren't as imposing going forward because we didn't have that guy that could collect the ball and run 20 yards with it and dip inside and get us up the pitch. I thought we actually missed Noah Okafor when he came off, but we know his fitness levels and, you know, he looks at a puff quite early on, doesn't he, in games. But he's a confusing one, Noah Okafor. I haven't made my mind fully up on him. It's good stuff, it's bad stuff, it's the Gattuso meme, isn't it? Sometimes maybe you know what, and sometimes maybe not. Where do you stand on Okafor, and what did you make of his impact today?
I find him hard to watch. I do find him hard to watch. I like him, obviously I like him, and we've said from pretty much the first second we've seen him that he's the only one within this side that's got an X factor, and I'd still agree with that. I think Brendan showed signs of an X factor today, but he doesn't do it enough. Outside of that, he is really it. Everybody else within this side is industrial, working hard. They will grind away at it. Even Willie Gnonto, even the creative players that we've got. Jayden Bogle, I'd put in that kind of category as well. He's industrial. He will work and work and work, and he has got that little bit of something from time to time, but ultimately it's hard work that gets him into the positions. Whereas Noah Okafor can take 3 players out of the game with a bit of skill. You see it on him, and he glides past players at times like they're not even there. Yeah. But then he'll do a step over and he'll catch it with his heel and bounce the ball to the opponents, and it's like, for fuck's sake. But yeah, he has to play. If we're playing with wingers, he has to be in the team. If we're playing 2 up front, I still really like what we saw from Mecha and Calvert-Lewin. But it's hard to ignore the fact that throughout a lot of this good run that we've had, that Okafor's been part of that front too. It's hard to ignore that. I did think it was really interesting that when he made changes today, Daniel Farke, that he brought Lucas Mecha on the left wing. I couldn't really understand that. And it made me feel like Willie Gnonto was even further away from starting games for Leeds United, or further away from impacting games for Leeds United, because it brings Mecha on.
I thought Willie looked off it when he came on. He didn't look like he has done when he's at impacted games last couple of times he's come on.
He looked too scared to be out of position defensively.
Yeah.
He wanted to always be the goal side of the ball. So he was then not adventuring out, whereas Mecha kept us a little bit higher up the pitch. But I agreed with you. I thought when Okafor came off, we did lose a little bit of control of the game. They're scared stiff of him. They were scared stiff of him. And the thing with him is he's a big lad as well. Yeah. He's imposing. He doesn't use his body as well as what he should do if he were a number 9, but he has got strength and physical presence about him, whereas Willie Gnonto looks like a child. And that's no disrespect to Gnonto, it's just the type of players that they are. So it did feel like we lost a bit, but I also think game state is a part of that as well. We couldn't have just carried on dominating without scoring and just hoped to carry on dominating in that way for the remainder of the game. It were about the 80th minute when the game really swung the other way, and then we got a little bit deep. But I think at that point, the team probably decided, you know what? We've had a chance to get that second goal. We haven't got it. We now need to make sure that we leave here with a point. And I think that was intelligent. I think that was smart, because if we'd have carried on going for the winner, Mayenda, who was fresh, Isidore, who was fresh, would have started getting in behind us on the counter. And I think that is what the big change was. Sunderland made changes to be able to stretch the game a little bit more, and we had to kind of react with a system change, So, yeah.
Yeah, no, indeed. Simon, funnily enough, I think Okafor needs more time to gel. The more games, the better he will be. Arthur, we had James out. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. You would have said, that left-hand side, Gnonto coming on would have seemed to make more sense. But, like you've covered there, you just lose that physicality a little bit. And I guess that's where, if maybe something we can do in the January transfer market, although we're not starting games with wingers. So, it's a whole conundrum on that side as well.
I do think that's an interesting point on Okafor, because I think there's a gelling issue with him in the team. And then you're also asking him now to play a position that is not naturally his position. Yeah. He's not a 9. He's not even a second 9. He's kind of filling a role that some of his attributes apply to, more than him actually being well suited to playing the 9. There's so many opportunities when Calvert-Lewin's doing his thing, and I think, Noah, you should be there. Noah, you should be spinning behind there. Noah, you should be dropping off 5 yards. And if he had the experience of being an out-and-out 9, he would know that, but he doesn't. So he still gravitates towards the left-hand side of the pitch, because that's where he's most comfortable. Brendan does it a little bit too. Brendan, he's playing as a midfield 3. He will sometimes be out on the right wing. Yeah. So it comes when you put in square pegs in round holes. But at the minute, it's still functioning enough to look really threatening. Going forward, we look dangerous at all times, don't we? Which we didn't earlier on in the season. So
no, and there's still elements, and you've seen it with the goal, of good intricate little passing movements, and we still see those kind of shadows from last season, where obviously we dominated the ball and we're so much better technically than teams, but we can still, it's like the first opportunity today, it was actually a really nice bit of play, and then Stack had a shot that was kind of straight at the keeper, but we still feel capable of playing football as well. It's not all just pump it up to the big man and that's it. It feels like we have got quite a rounded game in that way. Speaking of, obviously, goal scorers as well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is scored in 6 consecutive Premier League appearances for the first time in his career, with this being a longer scoring streak than Harry Kane ever managed in the competition. I mean, DCL, I mean, what can you say, Jay? I mean, it's 8 goals for the season now, and you know, you put in the group on the plane, you know, and it certainly feels like he's just, I mean, people will probably say, is it a purple patch? Is it going to last? Is an injury going to come around? We don't know, but I mean, he's just on another level. I mean, I can't remember the last strike we've seen with this amount of quality.
I mean, just to remind you, you know, Downsy said, we'll score the goal to keep you up. And, you know, he's scoring the goal to keep us up right now. You know what? I've said this on several shows. He is the kind of striker you can only truly appreciate when he's playing for your colours.
Yeah,
he's just class to watch. I love watching him. Everything he does when the ball's in and around his head and his chest is just excellent. He's got brilliant balance for a big striker. He covers the ground better than you think he would. He's got really good first touch. He's smart. His runs are intelligent, and he's a good finisher. What Calvert-Lewin's not a good finisher, or the moments where he's not a good finisher, are when he's got too much time to think. Yeah. When he's one-on-one with the keeper and the keeper's bearing down on him, he's got to place it around him. He's not great then. You put Erling Haaland in that situation and you know it's going to go in most weeks. Calvert-Lewin's great when he's got no time to think about it. When the ball's getting flashed at him and he's just got to direct it towards goal, head or feet, he's very, very good in them areas. And again, that chance today, it looks easy because he makes it look easy. It's not that easy. He strides onto that first time and takes it. I mean, Rose stands no chance. He's excellent, mate. And, you know, that stat, I mean, he scored in more consecutive games than Harry Kane. Harry Kane's probably the most prolific English goal scorer this country's ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, maybe outside of Alan Shearer, right? Like, he's right up there. He's right. And Calvert-Lewin's actually scored in more consecutive games than Harry Kane. And he's playing for Leeds United. He's not playing for Spurs, who were challenging for the top four for during most of Harry Kane's time. He's playing for Leeds United at the bottom of the Premier League. So he stands a serious chance of getting on that plane. Serious chance of getting on the plane because he's very, very different. He gives us something different. You know, if we're desperately in need of a target man going into the last parts of a game for England, you can't stick on Ollie Watkins and ask him to play for flick-ons and holding the ball up. Yeah. You know, Harry Kane can do that to a point, but you want Harry Kane in and beyond that to score. Calvert-Lewin would give us a serious option. And if he's fit and strong, which he looks like he is and he's confident, why wouldn't you take him? This is a player that's already, you know, scored goals for England, played games for England. So long may it continue, mate.
Where's he in the scoring charts now? He must be like...
He's right up there, yeah. I think Haaland, and then Haaland's on like 20 or something ridiculous. And then there's a big gap to second. I forget who second is. And then there's a big group on like 8 or 9.
Yeah. So he'll be in there, won't he? He'll be cushioning.
He'll be in around third, joint third, something like that.
Yeah. The second half, Jay, when it came to it, obviously we're going into that second half 1-0 down. Are you thinking, you know, is it going to be one of those we're waiting for our opportunity again? I thought the intensity, and I mean, at some points it was almost laughable how dominant we were. I mean, Sunderland were literally just kicking it away and kicking it straight back. Oh, they were completely all over the place, weren't they? And we were at that point. You were just praying for the ball just to drop in the right place or something to happen. It just didn't quite happen again outside of DCL's goal. But the way we were pressing and dominating that second half, I mean, you know, it's impressive, isn't it? I mean, to go away and do that against, you know, where did they start the day, in 5th place or something? I mean, it's absolutely insane, and it shows you what we can do when it's ticking like that and working like that, and the confidence levels are up, and when we've been set out to do that. Because obviously I think Farke has been labelled that sometimes it's a little bit too conservative or passive. Well, there was nothing passive about that today, Joe. Joe. Sorry, mate. You know, it was absolutely full whack, and just such a shame we couldn't get the second. But I mean, look, it's still it's still a positive result.
We have a really good balance between the times where we go direct and force the opponents to play off the seconds and further back into their half, and then actually play with some intricate passing. And the passing quality has improved. The quality in the moments has really improved. So, yeah, I mean, the second half was as one-sided as a half an hour as you'll ever see. I'd say until the 75th, 80th minute, we were completely in charge of the game. And then you had to expect it to kind of balance out a little bit. They were going to get back on top. And I think we did retreat a little as, legs went and whatnot. It'd be nice to see one of these strikes from distance just fly in instead of, there were a chance where I think it were Ampadu who rocketed it. And it would just straight at Ross. If it had been anywhere else, it had gone in. If it had been either side of Ross, it would have probably gone in because it were hit with so much power, but it's just straight at him. Or, bounce off a defender and flick in the opposite side of the goal. We just never seem to get them. We have to create like the best chance possible to score. But yeah, mate, we have to be delighted with how that second half went, even though we didn't get all three.
Did you think the set pieces were less impactful today? Do you think we didn't? A few of the deliveries, it wasn't quite on the money. We even went short at one point, and then it ended up falling at Brendan outside the box, and you just knew it wasn't going to, But the set pieces didn't quite hit in the same way. But I mean, it's hard to be too critical because obviously, I mean, how many corners did we have today? By the way, I mean, we were racking them up, weren't we? I mean, let me see how many corners we had today. I think 9 corners today.
I think one thing I'll say is that I thought a lot of the deliveries were out swingers, and I think Stack's deliveries are better when they're in swingers because they're bringing them towards a goal, and the attacking players can actually then get on and attack them far easier. But the out swingers were ending up coming a little bit further out, a bit towards a penalty spot rather than the edge of the 6-yard box. But sometimes you also have to just say that the opposition may have just defended them well. You can't. We're not going to always score from a throw-in or a corner. We were still threatening. BO was still getting on the end of some of them. The throw-ins looked like they were causing the most issues. Second contacts, especially in the first half, they were really struggling with them. So, yeah, I'm not overly concerned by it or anything like that. As it becomes more of a prevalent strength of ours, oppositions are going to start trying to come up with ways to deal with it as well. So, it's one of them sometimes.
What did you think about Tanaka today? Obviously, he came on to replace Joe Rodon. It's an interesting one, Tanaka. When I watch him, he doesn't seem to have quite the same. I don't know if it's a fitness thing or something, but quite the same legs in the press that he does. When he's like goes into that headless chicken mode and he's like snapping at players. Doesn't seem to quite be doing that at the moment. I don't know if it's an energy thing or maybe Daniel Farker's just saying, look, try and be a bit more composed because we've seen him kind of give the ball away in a couple of situations that have been costly. Where are you at with our Tanaka generally? Do you think he's kind of close to getting that third midfield place, or do you think he's probably, the subs bench is the right place for him at the minute?
I think it can be very much game dependent. I'm a little bit mixed on him. I've been mixed on him all season. I really like him as a player. And in the Championship, he stood out head and shoulders as one of the best midfielders in the division. But the level of opposition around him allowed him to look as good as what he was. In the Premier League, the level of midfielder is just so much higher that he is just another midfielder. So if he's having a good game, he will look like he belongs. When he's having a bad game, he will look miles off it. And I've said this several times. We've spoken about the Bournemouth moment. We've spoken about the Manchester City moment. A big thing with our Tanaka is the mental game and the game awareness and the decision making in really key moments to make sure that a bad mistake doesn't end up costing us a goal. And that's where I really stand with the worry on Tanaka. It's not that technically he's not good enough. It's just that in some key moments of Premier League games, he makes bozo moves, which end up conceding us points and goals and games. So he just needs to keep on developing and keep on learning. And I think in a midfield three, I think he's got in a 5-3-2 or a 3-5-2, whatever you want to kind of coin it. I think he has more scope to be able to do that, more scope to be able to create that experience. He can get away with more. I think this whole team hinges on two players, really. It hinges on Ethan Ampadu and it hinges on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Whether we play 4-2-3-1 or 3-5-2, it doesn't really matter. The team ticks when them two are really at it. Ethan Ampadu, when you watch him, he's leading this team literally on his shoulders. He's directing everything. Like, he's the choir master, the orchestra of everything that's going on. And Calvert-Lewin gives us that real edge quality that most teams that get relegated don't have up there. They're the two real differences at the minute. So I think when Ethan Ampadu's really leading the team and really playing well, Ao Tanaka can then survive far more because he doesn't have to think about it all. He can just try and play his game a bit more, you know. So
yeah, and I think that's a really on the mark kind of comment as well, because we've played a very similar lineup, and this, you know, apart from a couple of injuries we've had this season, we've managed to keep so many players fit and available, you know, and you kind of just think these players are going to be playing every game and it's not going to be a problem. But obviously reality bites today. Joe Rodon, we've got an update now. Baron Cross speaking at Farker after. Farker says Rodon's ankle is very swollen. He doubts the defender will be available for any of the games before the FA Cup match at Derby, but he needs further scans. So we're looking, let me get the fixtures up.
That'll be Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, and then the Derby game, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, so potentially 3 Premier League games there. Obviously, we'll do a proper preview for the Liverpool game as well. But in terms of what that does to selection going forward, as Sporting Journey says here, Fark thinks Rodon will be missing from those games. Where are you at with that then? Would you kind of look at the team that kind of it switched to after Rodon left the pitch? Does Bornau make an appearance? Does Ampadu or Stack go into the third centre-back role? I mean, what's your heart telling you on where we will go with that, considering Rodon's now out?
I think it's an absolute brutal injury. And I mean, you're making the point about keeping players fit. You can't do anything against impact injuries. This isn't a, physio issue, isn't a medical department issue. This is obviously a impact injury. We saw it, and it would double barrel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's twisted rolling ankles, ligament injuries. They're delicate. They take time to heal, and there's nothing you can do other than rest. It's literally resting. I said to you earlier this stream, didn't I? There'd be next to no chance that he plays against Liverpool and Man United. Yeah. I think it's gutting. I think it's really gutting. I think the only chance that we I'm not even really thinking about the Liverpool game. I think we've got a chance to get in there. I don't care. All I care about is next Sunday. And I think that injury really impacts us. Really, really impacts what chance we have of winning that game. What do I think he does? I think he goes to the 4-2-3-1. Yeah. I would be stunned, absolutely stunned, if he plays Bornau at right centre back against Liverpool. I'd be so stunned. I'd be even more stunned if he played Stack or Ampadu there.
Yeah.
Given the level of importance to Ampadu being in the middle of the park and in the middle of the pitch dictating, I just don't see it. And yeah, I just don't see him playing Bornau there. Could he play James Justin there? I've seen some people kind of, suggest that as an option. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Joe Rodon he's vital to this 3-5-2 working. He's absolutely vital to this 3-5-2 working. So, no, I don't see it. I think he'll go to the 4-2-3-1, and I do think we will be easier to deal with as a consequence, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a big blow, isn't it? Some other comments saying from Farker. Farker says he would have changed formation even without the Rodon injury today. It's funny, this formation thing, because it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? It's everything's so kind of black or white, isn't it? But like they never did anything before to their formation. But he wanted his side to be braver and felt they were going. They were after they went behind. Felt Leeds should have won, so he's not dancing tonight. next 3 fixtures, obviously difficult fixtures there as well. And it is, I mean, it's a big game, obviously. I mean, Liverpool away, Anfield, I mean, it's a real, I'm similar kind of camp to you, though. It's that one next Sunday where it really feels like important. But in terms of going into New Year's Day against Liverpool, and if you're looking at kind of, well, obviously we're looking at the bottom 3 as well, and West Ham, because they've got a kind of softer run of games, haven't they, at the moment? So I think West Ham have got, Brighton. They look to have Brighton at home. Actually, I mean, it's not that easy, is it? Brighton at home to be
really not easy, mate.
No, but they do have Wolves in a couple of games' time. What would you be happy with? I mean, if there's I'd be happy with it. You know, if we've got like a 5-point gap at the end of that mini run, because I mean, let's talk about it a little bit. Yesterday's results and the fact that West Ham lost yesterday. I mean, that felt huge, didn't it? Because this was supposed to be their run of games where they kind of started to put a little run together, catch us up, and eventually climb out of the relegation zone. But to lose to Fulham 1-0 at home felt very, very damaging.
Just want to say before we kind of skip away from the tactic conversation, because I'll forget and I won't come back to it.
Yeah.
It is really funny because people have kind of just applied the logic that the 3-5-2 change has seen the coincided with the change in fortunes. A lot of the good things that we've done over the last few weeks have been in the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And we've made the point on this show that the performances before the change to 3-5-2 have deserved more results in the 4-2-3-1. So, you know, it's not just as black and white as 3-5-2 means that we're playing well, 4-2-3-1 doesn't. You know, we played really, really well for 70 minutes today in the 4-2-3-1. I just think in certain circumstances, certain situations, certain formations going to look better against certain teams. I'd be really interested to know if he was going to make that change. I don't believe he would have done. No. I think it might have at half time, but there's no way on this planet that he was bringing Yacobiol off after 25 minutes.
No.
To go into the 4-2-3-1. I don't believe that for a second, Daniel Farker. You're having me on. So, you know, but yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be really, really interesting. And I'm excited to see it. So yeah, sorry, to come back to your question. Yesterday was a huge day for us. As much as I don't like looking at the opposition results, you can't help it, and it matters. Yeah. It really matters, and it matters especially when West Ham lose at home. Yeah. You know, especially to teams that they're hoping to pick up points against, and they were pretty crap yesterday again. I mean, they missed a couple of good chances. I've watched the highlights back, and then, I mean, have you seen the goal?
Yeah.
A horror of errors defensively. Yeah. First off, a defensive header that's an error. Then the left back slices it completely. And I mean, it's as simple as a goal as you're ever going to see. Harry Wilson kind of just crosses it towards the back post and Jimenez heads it in from 6 yards out. Like, it's comedy of errors. And I mean, from when we played West Ham, I've said that I thought this West Ham team was better than ours. And I still think it is technically on the pitch. But I just think they're a mess. I think they've got a mess situation off the pitch. I think the fans are not helping. I think the players are down in tools a little bit, and they've got no coherence together as a side. So we're a better team. They might have better individuals, but that doesn't matter. And when you're applying it in a certain way, so you know they turned up at Ellen Road and we swept them outside inside 15 minutes, didn't we? Yeah. So they're in real trouble, mate. They're in real trouble. I mean, they're 7 points behind us now. 7 points is a hell of a gap to claw back. We're halfway through the season, and they are, if they were to carry on the points that they're trending on, they're going to finish on 26 points. You know, at that rate, we could be safe with another 7 points on the board. And I mean, I don't think that will be the case, but that is the maths so far. So it's pretty wild, really, when you look at it.
Well, this is it. And obviously, I mean, there was reports this morning where they're looking at Nuno now, you know, because it's 2 wins in 10 or something.
Desperate,
now, if they do, you know, if you do push that button, if West Ham get rid of Nuno, I mean, like we were talking about yesterday, our West Yorkshire Football Show catch-up, you know, you're entering chaos times, aren't you, then? Because you're just going through managers. I mean, who else is out there, Jay, that would want to come into a situation like that at West Ham? Now, look, granted, if you can get some of those players performing, I think it's, you know, a fascinating one, Jay, obviously relates to us as well, is what's happening with Chris Somerville, because there's more and more West Ham fans that are growing frustrated with him, no end product, and in the Championship, obviously, we're banging in them left, right, and centre and look fantastic. But, when you're in that kind of downward spiral that they seem to be in, everything looks kind of slightly off. And I don't know who can come in to really rescue that. Now, there's talk that they'll spend a lot of money in January and whatever. Well, look, we bought Rutter for 35 million in a January transfer window and he barely kicked a ball. It doesn't solve all your problems. Like you say, the base at Leeds feels strong. We've got a manager who has been there 2.5 years. We've got a group of players where it feels to me they're fighting tooth and nail. Everybody knows what their jobs are. And we've got a bit of magic happening up top end with a striker that, we've pulled in on a free, but has pedigree. And, you need those little things to come together and to happen. But West Ham's a warning, that's how quickly it can fall apart from winning a European trophy. But I agree with you. I mean, looking at 13 points after 18 games, I mean, it's a lot of movement's got to happen there, hasn't it, Jay? You've got to turn that around, and they've already lost, one of their supposed easy games in this run of 4 fixtures coming up. So yeah, it'll be fascinating to see. Like you say, you can't help but look at other results, when you're in the scrap. A couple other teams as well. I mean, Forest, obviously they picked up massively under Dyche. I'm not 100% convinced they're suddenly going to sprint away, though. I'm really not. Bournemouth as well. I mean, Bournemouth, Jay. I mean, a quick comment on them. I mean, they are just sinking, aren't they? They're sinking like a ship. I mean, they're a couple points ahead of Leeds now, and getting humped by Brentford 4-1. I mean, the wheels just seem to have completely fallen off there.
Did you see their defending yesterday as well?
Horrible.
I mean, if you want to watch a horror show, I tell you what it looked like. It looked like us 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what the defending looked like. It was so bad. And it kept on happening time and time again. Every time Brentford went forward, it's like, where's the back line? It was just Diakite and then no defenders. Like, it was just him defending Brentford, running at his goal. It was surreal what I was watching. And I just kept on... It was like I kept on watching the same replay over and over again. And the attack looked exactly the same. I mean, there's quite a bit to unpack there. On Bournemouth, it's funny, because Bournemouth, we bring Football Manager up from time to time, but Bournemouth got relegated in my save. And we all kind of, because I was sharing it with you lot, we're all like, Bournemouth getting relegated. Like, that's a bit of a shocker. That won't happen. And they have literally dropped like a stone. And they've got some problems there because Semenyo looks like he's on the way out in January. Release clause is expected to be hit, 65 million quid. That's all their goals pretty much gone. It's certainly the reliable goals gone anyway. And Ivan Nielsen's not really scoring at the rate that he has done previously. Tyler Adams is out for 3 months, who I know is one of their best midfielders. They've got problems within that side. And, the back line, which was torn apart in the summer, it looked like it was going to develop early on this season to be a really good replacement. They're having real big problems in that area of the pitch as well. They're not stepping up and playing in the way that they kind of showed the early signs were at the beginning of this season. So, I think... Sorry, I just got waylaid by the Rokerman's comment. I'll come to that in a minute. I think Bournemouth are going to be in and around it. I think Bournemouth are going to be really, really, really around it. I think West Ham have got a serious issue. Going and taking Nuno out of the job, I mean, who do you go to? Nuno is kind of seen as a relegation specialist.
Yeah.
Like, he's a manager that's capable of putting a team together and making them defensively robust and strong and difficult to beat. I mean, West Ham are really easy to beat right now. Yeah. Who do you bring in that's got the pedigree, that's prepared to come in January to change all that when they're in a bit of a mess? Mm-hmm. And then the players go to, their biggest problem that they're dealing with right now is recruitment. The recruitment has been poor.
Yeah.
Who says that they're going to be able to throw money at it in January and get that right? And the level of players that you're going to need to turn up are going to be probably not of the standard that you need. Not unless you're really lucky. You know, I always think back through the years of the teams that have been able to make a difference in January. I think like Esteban Cambiaso when he came in at Leicester. He helped Leicester stay up. Like, them kind of signings are really rare. They're really, really rare. So I just don't see it. And I mean, I always thought West Ham would get out of it, but I don't see how they do right now if we keep on trending the way that we are. Yeah,
exactly. And you know, look, Premier League teams or established Premier League teams like West Ham, Bournemouth, because of financially, they're able to kind of, you know, the build up through the years. It'll be interesting to see how much can they spend, how much can they throw at it. And the argument is obviously where kind of strapped a little bit. I'm trying to find a quote from Farkas. I think he's talking about right, okay. So got a little bit here about Farkas on January transfer window. Farkas says he doesn't expect signings to arrive in time to play in the next few Premier League games. No, the Liverpool, Man United and Newcastle games normally come too close to integrate any new players. I don't envisage any potential signing to feature in the next 3 fixtures. I mean, it's not a closed door. Yeah.
The way that he words that is interesting because that makes it sound like a signing's imminent that won't be able to play in them 3 games, which is really, really interesting.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if we actually do something there. Do you want to get back to Rokerman, by the way?
Well, I mean, I know he's watching probably back at the start when I said that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Go and have when you come to it, Rokerman, go and have a look at the Sunderland fan base on Twitter. And if you can tell me with a straight face, honestly, that there's not arrogance going around, then I'm sorry, but you're blinded to the truth. The Sunderland fan base, I mean, I really like the underdog. I want the underdog to do. I want Sunderland to survive. But the way that Sunderland fans have spoken about their half of the season so far, and the way that they're speaking about themselves as if they're this kind of like, I don't know, like, you've not played that well.
Yeah.
You've done amazingly well to get the points on the board. And that's all that matters this season. But let's just cut it as it is. Be honest, be straight, be direct with the way that you've actually performed out on the pitch. The performances have been okay, but you've overachieved. You've over-indexed the amount of points that you actually should have on the board. That's what I see. The XG tells you that. The underlying stats all tell you that. And there's this kind of arrogance and aura around the Sunderland fan base at the minute, as if like we deserve to be top 5. We are top 5 Premier League team. Like, and I don't know, like, go and have a look at the fan base anyway. Like I said, I'm only reacting to what I've seen online.
Well, there was a chart, wasn't there, about underlying numbers, and they were like 4th bottom or something. So, I mean, look, sometimes you can defy it. Look at Aston Villa at the other end of the table, you know, defying those underlying numbers, and it can happen. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's have a look. Some comments here. Seabass, hello from South Africa. Hello, mate. Welcome along. Let's have a look at this. John, Leeds United are the best example in English football history of a side winning ugly and without deserving it. Clough called it. Right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, don't get Browney into talking.
Don't set me off.
You won't win without.
It's a positive.
I'm not detracting away from the points total that Sunderland have got. No. What I'm saying is call it for what it is. Yeah. Like, let's not make it out like it's this scintillating style and that Sunderland are an insane football team and they're playing really, really well, because they're not. Like, we've seen it today. That performance that I saw from Sunderland today, I've seen that before this season.
Yeah.
I've seen that first half when they didn't deserve to be in front and they're leading 1-0. You know, and don't get me wrong, there is an element of ability and skill and style and tactic to that. I understand that. I'm well aware enough of football to understand that it takes many different ways to kind of skin a cat or to win a football game. But don't come on with this arrogance level that you are one of the best teams in the division. I'm not just going to stand and just accept that when it's not the reality, you know. So they've done amazing. They've done unbelievably well. No one, you know, unbelievably well. Can I just say, like, are we ruling Burnley and Wolves out? I know Wolves are dead, but are we ruling Burnley out with this?
I think so. I think they look kind of. I mean, to be fair, a couple of decent draws for them, but I can't see how they turn it around from here. Do you think they'll kick Scotty Parker out, or do you think he'll just see it through?
I think unless they start getting
battered,
unless they start getting battered and not picking up any results ever, I think they'd probably be worth staying with him and trying to build again. Like, what is the realm of expectation for Burnley? It's a bit like the Daniel Farke conversation at Norwich. I would imagine that the kind of mandate for Scott Parker in the summer would have been make us competitive, try and keep us in the hunt as long as you possibly can, but we expect to go down. I would imagine that would be the ambition.
Well, I mean, 5 games or so ago, we were right next to them, and it's kind of like they've gone down and we've gone up. It's like that. It seemed like a bit of a crossroads moment where it was like, well, you're just going to kind of fall into a pattern here, or what? We've luckily we've managed to turn it around. I mean, with the league as tight it is, Jay, as well. I mean, if you get a couple of results going your way, you can fly up the league. I mean, what are we? I mean, Chelsea's only. I mean, say only, but 9 points away from us, and they're in 5th. It's bonkers, isn't it? If we decent run, I mean, I always remember, Bielsa's first season where, we didn't lose in his last 10 games, and it just completely saw us home. And this has happened with Farke before. We get to this point where we just seem to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. And look, if we can get a couple of additions in January that just boost it a little bit further, maybe gives a little bit more options off the bench, who knows? I'm not getting carried away.
No, you're right. And I mean, you're absolutely spot on the table. Before a ball was kicked today, if we'd have won the game, and we deserve to win the game today, I'm going to say that we deserve to win the game today. I thought we were the better of the two sides. We'd have been 5 points behind Sunderland. And Sunderland have had this unbelievable half a season. And ultimately, we've been, in the eyes of a lot of the media, we've been relegation fodder for a lot of it, up until the beginning of December, and we've turned things around. 5 points would have been in it. And as it stands, it's what, 8, is it?
Yeah.
So would that mean that it would have been 6? No, it would have been 5. Yeah, it would have been
8 points. Yeah.
8 points, yeah. It's still not Casmic. I've said to you all, and Sunderland keep on overcoming kind of my expectations, and I think everybody's expectations. I've been expecting them to drop off all season because the performances have shown that that's what I should expect. That 1 week they're going to lose at home, and then they're going to start to see more results line up with the way that the game actually plays out. And I still think that will happen. It's just the longer this continues, the higher up the table that they will finish. And that will be justified. That will be very, very fair. But at some point, Sunderland are going to stop generating points at the rate that they have. And they will end up, in my opinion, between 12th and 15th.
Yeah. Well, and this is why it's like Villa isn't at the top. There's no one actually thinks they're going to win the league, because you just can't see them to keep doing that, can you? You can't keep doing that week in, week out. They're not dominating teams, not, loads of XG. It seems like they get 1 or 2 chances a game, or the scoring world is, and that eventually is going to dry up.
One good chance today. They had one good chance today.
Yeah, one shot on target today. One shot on target.
One shot on target.
I mean, they had the thing on the bar, and that didn't count. But one shot on target, Jay.
Yeah. And again, that's down. A lot of that was down to the way that we played today. They will definitely have played better than that this season, Sunderland. I get that. Or they'll have imposed themselves on a game more. Leeds deserve the credit for stopping that. Yeah. But again, I'm going to repeat, Sunderland have played like that this season and won. Yeah. And that's what I'm getting at. And we've played like that and lost.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the two sides. I don't think that there's 8 points between the two sides at all. I really don't. And I have actively said all season that this Leeds United team is between 16th and 18th.
Yeah.
Go and check any video, you'll see it. That's what I've said. I just think Sunderland are in and amongst that as well. I think Sunderland have probably, over the whole squad when everybody's available, are probably slightly in front of us. I think they're between 12th and 15th. So I think Browney's froze. It's froze at a hell of a time there, aren't I? I'm going to bring up a couple of comments while Browney comes back. The Burnley Turfcast podcast mentioned that they had been watching Leeds versus Palace, and as soon as Leeds had won that match, it made Burnley's task that much harder now to stay up. Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, Burnley are always going to have... You're back. You're a bit grainy, but you're back. Burnley are always going to have it a little bit difficult. They're always going to be up against it because the likelihood of them being able to attract the players that they need to stay up is just much more difficult. You know, they had Isaiah Fleming up front yesterday, and I don't know if you see the chance that he misses in the last minute of the game. Well, it's late into the game, it hits the post, and that turns 1 point into 3 and gives them a chance, and they don't. And it's them moments that are key. And right now, we've got somebody that does score them chances. Thankfully, we do just have that little bit of extra quality. That is the only result this season that I feel real disappointment about. Is the Burnley away result, because they are crap. Yeah. And if we'd have gone there and got a point, even a point would have been so much better. But a win right now, Browney, I'm just looking at the table on my other monitor. A win right now takes us level with Newcastle. And I know Newcastle are having a bit of a patchy season, but that is how well we've done this season to bridge this gap. We've scored more goals this season than Newcastle.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad, isn't it? It is mad. It is a mad season, the way it's shaping up, honestly.
We've scored more goals than Sunderland, by the way.
Have we scored more goals than Sunderland? Let's have a look.
We've scored 5 more goals than Sunderland.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. God, yeah. I mean, compared to kind of the teams below us, I mean, even Forest with all their kind of attacking talent as well. I mean, we're miles ahead of them in the goal scoring. Yeah, Liverpool next. Then Jay, thoughts on that? Or look, Liverpool away, Anfield, always difficult, always super hard. They've kind of picked up a little bit, haven't they? Obviously, we know what happened last time we went there. We got that victory under Marsh. How do you feel about going into that one? Relaxed because of the position we're in and the points we've got. It doesn't feel like that boot is on our throat, does it, with this one?
It's a complete free hit. I don't like saying that because I don't think any game really can be a free hit. And we've shown we're capable of giving anybody a game. Yeah. And we are now starting to play well away from home as well. Yeah. So, look, we can go there with the kind of, as you say, we've not got the foot on the throat. We know we're comfortably outside the bottom 3. We can go there and relax and play our stuff, hopefully get a result. But if we don't lose too badly. Yeah. And then Sunday. They're all right now, honestly, in my mind, I can't even tell you how psyched I am for this game. I don't really like playing into this narrative of it's a massive game for Leeds fans and gearing up for derbies and stuff. I am psyched for this game because I really feel like the gap, and I know Man United are actually in a bit of a moment right now where they're starting to get points on the board and whatnot. But the gap between the two teams at Ellen Road's a different kettle of fish. But at Ellen Road, it feels close. It feels like we can go there and win that game. Not only does it feel like we can go there and win that game, it feels like we can go there and actually stomp them. Now, I would take any win. I would take any win in any fashion it comes. But when you've got the capabilities of doing what we did to Chelsea at Ellen Road, we can, if we impose ourselves on that game, we can be looking back at this and saying, do you remember when we beat Man United 3-0 at Ellen Road? Yeah. We can be coming back and saying that. Calvert-Lewin scored in 10 straight games or whatever it'd be by then if he scores against Liverpool.
It's then, though, that it's kind of, we're playing Thursday and then Sunday.
Yeah, but so are they. And, it's in our advantage that it's at home. I think Ellen Road is such an equaliser for us. The Joe Rodon injury makes me really, really, really upset because I feel like we need the system and we need our best players on the pitch to be able to win that game. But it means a lot to me. I want to see us win that game. I remember January the 3rd. I was there, but a cup game is different. The last time that we beat Manchester United was at Ellen Road. Harry Kewell scored that header, the 1-0 game. We all remember it. It's so long ago. I think I was 12. I'm 35 now. I want to see us win. I want to see us beat them in the league.
It was a scalp we didn't take under Bielsa on it in that Premier League season and when we were up last time. So we need it. I'm just looking, though. They actually play on Tuesday. So they've got a couple of...
You're playing Tuesday?
Yeah. They're playing Wolves at home on Tuesday. And then they don't play for another 5 days until they play us. So
that's a blow.
And it's Wolves that they're playing as well. So I mean, it shouldn't be too strenuous for them, should it? But yeah, that's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
What dingbat organised that? God.
Whatever. Maybe we'll be more in this flow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't want to. No excuses.
No excuses.
I want us to go out there and I want us to do the job. You know, and that Ellen Road will be fiery. The only thing that I wish was that it was at night. I just wish it was a late kickoff. Whenever. I don't care. Yeah.
Under the lights would have been.
Hopefully the ground is literally bear pit atmosphere kind of stuff, and we can just take them off the pitch. Yeah, just terrify them off the pitch.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you for everyone who commented. If you've not liked the video already, please do. And also get subscribed to the channel. Myself and Jay, we will be back with more Leeds content. We'll have reviews of the Liverpool game, Manchester United game. There'll be other shows on the channel as well, so stay tuned for that. Jay, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, mate. And thank you so much for everybody wishing us a Happy New Year and joining in with us and whatnot. We'll be back. Are we going to do Thursday late night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got to, haven't we?
Are we going to do tomorrow as well? We did kind of up and down about doing one tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know because maybe it might be. I'll have to let you know situation.
Yeah. No sweat. No sweat. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes, I'd second that. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.